This is the Steam link. There isn't really much to it. You link it up and stream Steam to your TV. Does it work well though, and is it worth getting? Well, I've had this device for around a month now, and I've played through the entirety of Night in the Woods, and I've played through the first four episodes of season 1 of The Walking Dead. By the way, thanks to Parser for telling me about Night in the Woods, and for Jesse for telling me about The Walking Dead. But yeah, I've had a lot of experience with it, playing through these games, so this is my review of the Steam link. So design wise, there isn't really much to this device, no fancy features or lights, minus the Ethernet port. This is pretty much just a box with the Steam logo on top. That's fine though, because you're not really going to be looking at it much anyway. If you do have it on display though, all of the ports are hidden around the back, so you don't actually have to see them, other than the USB port that's on the side. So at the back you're going to be getting a port for power, 2 more USB ports, an Ethernet port, as well as a HDMI out port. You don't really need anything else with this device. When you boot the device up, you'll be greeted with a screen asking you to link up a controller or a mouse and a keyboard. And yes, both controller games as well as mice and keyboard games work over this. Once you connect something up, you should see your available computers after choosing your language. This device does not actually run any games, it basically streams your computer screen and its audio over to the TV. So you will have to have a free computer to use this. No one will be able to use the computer while you're playing the game because they will just be seeing what you're seeing on the TV. Anyway, before we go into this, I'll just point out a few settings that you may want to change. Under audio, I would recommend setting device to auto. It took me longer than it should have to find out why the sound wasn't working on this, but it was basically because I had the device set to external USB Bluetooth. This should in theory mean that you should be able to connect your headphones via a controller's 3.5mm headphone jack, and it should switch over from HDMI automatically, but that just didn't work for me and my Xbox One S remote. The sound just wouldn't stream to and through the controller. Also, if you have a 5.1 setup, you should change the speaker configuration to 5.1 surround, because with my setup, Auto Detect wanted to enable stereo for some reason. The other settings should be fine as they are, but if you're going to connect from a device over Bluetooth, you can do that from here. I'll leave a list of supported controllers down below. The Xbox One S controller works natively with this device over Bluetooth, which is great. You can tell an Xbox One S controller apart from an Xbox One controller because it has matte all over and has textured handles, whereas the regular Xbox One handles are just smooth. So I only have one Xbox One S controller at the moment that works with the Steam Link, but my brother also likes to use that controller too, but it's not too much of a problem. When he wants to use it, he just basically takes the controller and repairs it through the dongle that's in his computer. And when I want to use it on the Steam Link, I just use the wired controller that I've got linked up to navigate to Bluetooth, forget the controller and then re-add it again. Obviously you may not have to do this, but if you do, it only takes around 2 to 3 minutes to get the controller up and running on it. Once everything's ready, you can wake up the computer over LAN if you do have it set to wake up over LAN, and then you connect to it. If this is the first time that you're going to be connecting to the computer, you will have to put in a passcode that will be shown on the computer that you're connecting to, but this is only a one-off thing. But once you do that, you will enter into big picture mode, and yes, this is the same big picture mode that you can use on the computer itself. So if you want to know what that's like, just boot it up and give it a go. It's mainly geared for controllers, but it will work just fine with mice and keyboards. As for performance, while you can tweak a few settings here and there, I really wouldn't recommend buying this device or any similar device unless you can link this up directly by Ethernet. In fact, on the Steam page, they say right at the top that a wired network is recommended. You may be able to get away with using it on a 5 GHz network depending on what game you're playing, but it probably will lag. And using powerline adapters will also make it lag too in my experience. Now I've got both the computer in the kitchen as well as the Steam Link connected directly to the router by Ethernet. Although there is a switch in between the Steam Link and the router, but that doesn't affect the quality at all. With this setup, I was able to sit back and play through the entirety of Night in the Woods without any latency at all. At least not any that I could notice. It works perfectly at 1080p at 60 frames per second. Obviously though, games that don't run on your computer before will still not run any better over this, so bear that in mind. Overall though, while playing through Night in the Woods, for around 90% of the time though, it did feel like the computer was connected directly to the TV and I was just playing on the TV basically. The picture looked great and it ran great. For the other 10% of the time, there wasn't any latency, at least latency that was caused by the Steam Link itself and not my network. There were some weird artifacts that showed up in Night in the Woods, although they haven't showed up at all in The Walking Dead. But yeah, these artifacts didn't affect the gameplay at all. They just basically showed up in dark areas and looked a bit weird. But yeah, they didn't affect the gameplay at all. And they haven't actually shown up for the many hours that I've put into The Walking Dead so far. But even if it does, it doesn't affect the gameplay at all, and it's usually only temporary and only really shows up in dark areas. One other issue that I came across was that if you wake the computer up over LAN and you have other apps open up, after the game opens up, you may have a hard time getting back into the game if you only have a controller hooked up to the device. Although it did work totally fine when I was trying to replicate it with backup that was causing me the issues before. So the Steam Link does try to get around apps that open up and things like that. But I'd recommend that you just have them startup minimized so you don't have any issues at all and Steam Link doesn't have to work around them. But overall, I think the price of £40 is most definitely worth it. It works perfectly most of the time, and if you have a good network setup, you should feel like you're playing directly on the computer, but instead with a big screen and a couch to sit on. It has most definitely got me gaming a lot more because I just don't like sitting in front of the computer in the kitchen to game. If you want more from a living room device, there are some options such as the Nvidia Shield that I'm actually really tempted to switch over to that has the functionality of the Steam Link as well as a lot more. Be sure to check out this video by Kevin the Tech Ninja if you're willing to spend that bit more on the Nvidia Shield. He has 2 videos that do a great job of explaining what it does. But yes, while the Steam Link is basically just a streaming device, if you just want to play your games in the living room and don't really want anything else, I'd definitely recommend getting this, especially since you can get it really cheap. If you keep your eye out for sales, you can usually get a pretty good discount on it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get this video on time for you to make use of the sale that just passed, where this device was actually £12. But definitely keep an eye out for those sales. I didn't actually get the controller that is also discounted during those times, but I did try it out at Insomnia, and yeah, the Steam controller just isn't that good, I don't think. It's not going to be replacing my Xbox One S controller anytime soon, and to be honest, I don't really feel like I'm at a loss not having it. So if any of you have the Steam Link, be sure to let me know in the comments down below, and tell me what your opinion is on it. Do you think it's great, or do you think it's not? Even though I think it's pretty great. So be sure to let me know that in the comments. Be sure to like this video if you liked it. And I hope you all have a great day. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.